everyone, this is Susan from EVPL Red Bank, and today I'm going to show you how to draw a watercolor mountainscape. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out with putting a little bit of water on your brush, but you don't want a whole lot, and get a little bit of the lightest color that you plan to paint with. And you would start by just giving a little bit of a sense of coverage for the top part of your paper. Now I'm going to do mine in blues just because I like the way that looks, but this is really something that could be applicable to any color. So what you're going to do is when you get to the bottom of your top area, you're going to have a little bit of water on your brush still, and you're going to use that just to kind of fade it out. And so once you've done that, you want to give your brush a little bit of a dab on your paper towel or whatever you're using to dry your cloth. Make sure that you have a little bit of water still on there. Then you're going to go into your second darkest color. And this is where you're going to really start doing some actual shapes and colors. So to create the first mountain, you're just going to be drawing some triangles. And it doesn't matter where they are or what they look like, because these are the first ones. And the other ones are just going to kind of play off that. And then you're going to fill them in. I recommend getting a bigger brush than I have, because this takes a while when you have the little brush. But once you've filled that area in, you're going to do what you did with the lighter blue. You're going to take some water on your brush, but not too much because you don't want it to flood. And you're going to put that at the end of your colors just to kind of blend it down so that it gets a little bit lighter. And see, you notice maybe that there's a little bit of a line between the blue and the blended blue, and that's okay. If you need that, you can just grab a little bit more pigment and kind of blend that in. The only thing is you just don't want to have too much water on your paper, or else you're not going to have crisp lines. So what you would do from there, if you do have a little too much water, is just kind of paint it down a little more, especially because it's all going to be blue in the long run. So it's okay if it's not going to change the color or anything. So what you do then is you go to your next darkest color, and you're just going to draw a different mountain. And again, you're just kind of playing with some triangles here. It doesn't have to be any specific pattern or shape. The only thing is you just want to have a little bit of variety in where you put the triangles and what shapes they do. If they're a high peak, if they are kind of flat. And that's going to give you a good sense of variety and perspective. Alright. And again, once you get there, you're just going to put a little bit of water on your brush and just kind of blend it down. And that way it looks like there's more mountains beyond these that you're just not seeing because the other mountains are covering them up. Alright. It's okay if it's not perfect because it's going to get covered up. Alright, so once you've done that, you're just going to do what we've been doing every time, is you take your next blue. Now this one isn't as dark as the others, but I really like the way it looks because it's got a little bit of a purplish tone. And so I think that that can still make a nice contrast. And if you want to, you could even kind of cross those boundaries where the last mountains were, if you want to give the impression that this one's just an especially big mountain. Let's maybe give that a little bit of a swoop. Okay. And I think this is a good time to add our water just to kind of blend it down. The best time to blend is when the paint is still a little bit wet, because that way it'll be more willing to go with you. But if not, you can still just add a little bit more paint. All right. And then from there, I think we're getting pretty close to the ground. And so let's go with our darkest blue. Also, we've run out of different kinds of blue. And so let's have a big finish. Let's start here. And we want to cover this bit up. So let's maybe have a little one here. And that'll give us a good start. I'm telling you, most of this work is just filling the mountains in, because mountains take up a lot of space in paintings and also in real life. All right. I'm gonna wet our brush a little more, grab a little more paint. And another thing that's good is if you don't have entirely even color, like around here as we're blending down, it kind of looks like mist, so you can really kind of get away with it if you want to. All right. And so what we're gonna do from here is we're gonna try and carry this mountain a little bit farther down. And we could call it quits there if we wanted to, but there's still all this negative space here. And so what I'm going to try and do for this, I want to carry this down as far as I can so I have more room to work with. And then you're going to clean your brush, because you're going to be getting a completely new color that you don't want to trade over. And you want to get a dark color here, so one of these will be good. I'm going to go with brown because I just like that nice earthy tone of this one. This is maybe my favorite paint in the whole bunch. And I'm just going to give a light smattering along the bottom for just a basic ground. And it doesn't matter if it's even or not, because this is not something that needs to be precise. And then what you're going to do, if you have too much paint or too much water in your paint, just kind of move it around a lot like I'm doing, and it'll sink into the paint or evaporate at some point. So what you're going to do here, you have all this nice room to work with. You want to just start drawing some lines. And they don't have to be uniform. Actually, I'd recommend them not being uniform, because it's going to make a lot better. They can even be a little crooked. I like to start doing big little, big little, big little, and then just kind of filling in from there. And this is going to be the base of your trees. So what you're going to do Let's get some water off that brush. What you're going to do from there is you're going to start at the top and you're going to make a triangle for the tree, but you're going to do it just making tiny little brush strokes. Like so. And it's really just kind of a scribble to give the idea of a tree, because these are going to be kind of the shadows as the mountains are backlighting them. And it's okay if it goes over onto your tape. That's why we have the tape, to provide that nice little background and a protection for the edges of the paper. And you'll notice some of these areas, like the what I'm painting right now, have just a little more water than the rest of the paper. And so that's going to make it a little fuzzier. And if you don't want to have the little fuzzy ones, you can wait until it's dried up a little more. And you can paint some new trees over it, and then those will be like the background trees, and the new trees will be the crisp and focus ones. Alright. And so what I'd also do, if you need some more areas filled in, especially because there's not a whole lot in this forest here, is just kind of make some lines where you think it's a little too sparse. And just kind of add trunks where you think you should be. This is your work, and you get to pick where you want things to go. You could even add some extra trunks just to throw some perspective in there, because you're not going to see all the leaves. Alright, and that is how you get just a basic mountainscape. So I hope you like it. If you do like this video, and especially if you make something like this, make sure to share it with us and follow us on social media. It is EVPL Library with 1 L across all platforms. We hope you're safe and well. Have a great day.